Hello everyone, my name is Fifi and welcome to the first ever episode of the Chat Trip with Fifi. So today we're going to be discussing a very interesting topic of boundaries in relationships. And when I did a little bit of research, surfing the net, reading some articles, I learned that there are 5 types of boundaries in relationships, but of course, they are not limited to just a 5. The ones that I'm going to be talking about, these ones are in broad, but before we actually do start discussing them in extension, what are boundaries in relationships? That is a question that you must be asking yourself at home at the moment. These are the limits you put them in place for the next person or people in your circle, because boundaries in relationships, here we're talking about all relationships. Core boundaries is more like how far is too far, how about the thing. And to be very honest, rightly we have boundaries, but the problem is we fail to communicate them well ahead in time. But the bigger problem for me is that some people just have zero respect for boundaries. They don't really care about the consequences that come with breaking boundaries. Okay, even though I've already mentioned that boundaries apply to all types of relationships, I want to be very specific and talk about boundaries in couple relationship, boundaries with your partner, your romantic partner, your wife, your husband, your boyfriend or girlfriend. And I think it's also very important to note that boundaries are for you and about you. When you are uncomfortable about something your partner does or says, then you don't open up about it. It might cause rifts between the two of you. All right. Before we go any further, before we waste any more time, let's get into the very first boundary that I want us to discuss. Or maybe let me just start by mentioning them one by one. The first one that we're going to discuss is physical boundaries, followed by emotional boundaries, then sexual boundaries, physical boundaries, intellectual boundary, and financial boundary. All right. The first one that we're going to get into, I even mentioned it twice, the physical boundaries. Okay, these ones refer to your body, privacy, and personal space, and that is according to Care Brady, whom I've been reading most of her articles, and learning a lot from them. But it's not a must, for everyone to enjoy PDA, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with being uncomfortable with public display of affection. If your partner kisses you in public and you're like very uncomfortable with it, please by all means let them know. But then again, it's always very important and easy to say that well ahead in time, maybe at the beginning of the relationship. Look, babe, I don't want to be kissed or have my hand held in public. And if they're respectful, they will not do so at all. But then again, me saying this doesn't mean if they tell you about it at that moment in time, their uncomfortability is not warranted. Even having physical boundaries does not mean you don't love your partner or doesn't want to be affectionate with them. The major trick here is to communicate with one another. All right. I do hope that I try to explain it in the best way possible. And if you do have a comment about that one, I want to see it on the comment section below. Okay, moving on to the second boundary, which is emotional boundary. I think I didn't mention it earlier when I was, going through all the boundaries that we're going to discuss, but that's fine. Emotional boundary, this one so you better lay in touch with your feelings, to be honest, because sometimes when you're angry, sad or upset, and you just want to deal with that on your own without your partner feeling the need to butt in or fix it. Yeah, that's where emotional boundaries come in. It's all about where you end and where your partner begins. So here it's more like give each other some emotional space, but just any other boundaries, let me know so that I can respect you and get how do you handle your emotions so that I can be able to let you be. Like for me, for example, when I tell you about how you make me feel, I'm not expecting you to argue with me about my feelings. And I deal with misunderstandings in such a way that I require a lot of space, and you gotta give me that until I've calmed down. Then we address it. So it's just more like respect somebody's space. If there's been a misunderstanding, or you guys have had a fight and they want to take that time, you should respect that. But then again, if you're going to take your time, you should also know what your partner is feeling. Let's like create a balance between the both of you's emotions, because it cannot always be the same. But the bottom line here is respect each other's emotional boundary. All right. The third one is the sexual boundary. This one is very important and can help a lot when it comes to curbing issues, sexual violations. Because even in a relationship, for the other person, some sexual acts may be off limits for them for quite a number of reasons. So it's very vital before establishing a sexual relationship with our partner, communicate what should and what should not be done to you at all, so that you don't end up feeling violated or disrespected in any way. And also for you to enjoy yourself. Having sexual boundaries include mutual agreement, mutual consent, and understanding each other's limits and desires. Because we have people that are suffering or have not yet healed from past sexual traumatic experiences, and they may be uncomfortable with some sexual acts because it triggers unpleasant memories for them. So it's more like just understand somebody, respect them. And so when there is a boundary around that, certain sexual comments, touches, and expectations will be avoided. All right, the fourth one is intellectual boundaries. I actually love this one, because guys, everyone is entitled to their own ideas and beliefs, and boundaries around showing some respect for different views and ideas can prevent a lot of hurt and misunderstandings, because just because you know something and actually believe it, does not mean you need to show it down on a throat as a partner. Do not impose on others and start downplaying and talking down on them, treating them like you more smarter or that they can't understand you. It can damage your partner's emotional intimacy. If you know for sure that you cannot air your opinions or discuss certain topics around your partner because of how they're going to respond, then a conversation or boundaries needs to be had, definitely. And if your partner keeps hurting your emotions with each conversation you'll have, then try to avoid such situations. Right. The very last one, the fifth and last one, is financial boundaries. But a conversation about how you use your money on what is a must-have in a relationship, definitely, because having different rules and purposes related to money spending can actually strain the relationship. Gore o mongwe ga a dirise madi sentle, kana ga contribute, or the other feeling gore ga a fiwe madi and stuff. So let's go bua and put some limits in place. For example, when you have agreed, let's say on a joint account to save for something, and your partner feels you ain't contributing enough, this might upset them or make them feel used. Got a situation where you just get spend and not contributing after your agreed hadn't. So thank you guys for coming to my TED Talk. We're definitely going to be doing this again next week, and I'm going to be coming up with a very completely different topic. But for this one, you can let me know what you think on the comments section below, what I can improve on, and also give me suggestions on what we can talk about. Follow me on all social media platforms. On Facebook, it's Refile Sangkopa. On Twitter, Fifi Sangkopa. Instagram, Refile Sangkopa. And let's interact, let's talk, let's make everything fun. Thank you.